Hi, welcome to the podcast. I am Joe Posnanski, and with me is Michael Shore. Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Joe.
Oh, you're a happy man today. You're a happy, happy man today.
I've been through a lot, and
Yes.
I don't know, listeners don't know this maybe because I'm very private about it, but I was actually fairly ill recently.
Ooh. Yeah.
I had a doctors described it as a near terminal case of there being a pit in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I said, what do I do? And they said, pray to whatever God or gods you believe in. So I last night I prayed to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yes.
for
The baseball gods in
for
general.
deliverance.
Yes.
And I woke up this morning and I feel incredible.
You feel great.
Yeah.
And you feel great. This is such a great thing. So this is truly an emergency podcast because we have two very, very important. By the way, I don't even have time to introduce Brandon McCarthy, who's with us, because his dog is attacking him.
That's the giggling you hear is a former Major League pitcher, Brandon McCarthy, being assaulted with love by his dog.
His very cute dog.
What is your dog's name?
Callie.
Callie?
We had Hobbs, and then we got Callie, so it was like Calvin and Hobbs together, and then Hobbs passed, and now we still have Callie.
Callie is happier than I am that the Yankees are out of the playoffs, apparently.
Yeah. Callie was miserable like a couple of days ago when it looked bad, you know.
Callie's a Mariners fan.
Have I been lured here for this purpose to just talk about the Yankees' demise? I think that's what actually is happening here.
No,
100%.
Like false pretenses.
No, there are multiple things we want to talk to you about, including Callie. But yeah, no, mainly it's going to be about the Yankees' demise. Yeah, that's obvious. By the way, I don't know if anybody can notice this, but I have a whole new podcasting setup now.
This is very exciting. Joe is so happy that the Yankees are out of the playoffs that he bought all new podcasting equipment. Just so that
I'm like, listen, this podcast will record. I mean, we have recorded thousands of them.
And it will sound amazing. That's what's important. Our emotions need to come ringing through your podcast speakers, your listening equipment. Listen, enough. We have to get to all of. Right. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, but there are two main emergencies, and so in order to fully discuss these two main emergencies, we did bring Brandon McCarthy, former Major League pitcher, and our friend and power washer, to join us here today. And Brandon, first of all, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having us. We've come as a team today, apparently.
Yes, Callie is very much in the.
Callie has been licking Brandon's face continuously since the moment this started.
That's since the moment we brought her home. That's the only. It's her favorite thing in the world is, can I go lick his face? Aww. If I walk in the door, it's wait till I can get his face.
Does Callie lick the face of all family members, or is this mostly reserved for
She's
you?
Not what like Amanda. She's not welcome to do. Like Amanda will push her away, but I have less of an aversion to it. But she also stretches the limits of it completely, and Cassie doesn't like it. So basically, I'm her one outlet. So that's guest faces she will go for, but then my face, she's very sweet on.
Callie's very cute dog.
She's a great little dog.
All right, Mike, let's start with this. You and I were both convinced, particularly after they took the Red Sox out in 3 horrible games, that this Yankees team, despite, by the way, not being a very good team, despite that, because that's a fact, that they were going to find a way to get all the way to the World Series and win the World Series with this team, and it was going to be our doom. And I think we felt that way, and I think both of us felt pretty strongly, and we've been hearing about it ever since, that the Blue Jays in particular, I don't know how to better podcasting equipment, no better word speaking. The Blue Jays in particular were not going to be a huge threat. Would you agree that was how you felt?
Okay, listen, we're getting yelled at a lot on the internet because we disrespected the Blue Jays and we undersold their chances and everything else. Let me explain this for like the millionth time. We take a very practical approach to discussing the Yankees throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. The practical approach we take is we only allow for the possibility that the Yankees will win the World Series.
That's right.
We only allow for the possibility that all other teams will fall down, trip over themselves, and fail against the Yankees. And the reason we do that is that's the only logical way to approach this so that the baseball gods balance the scales. And like, there are people who are like, ha ha ha, you said the Blue Jays didn't have a chance. It's like, yes, of course we did. That's what we have to do. We are the only people doing this in America. We're the last line of defense that is preventing the Yankees from marching inexorably to another championship. So there's a way that we talk about them on this podcast, and then there's the way that we really feel. Privately, I felt like, and maybe Brandon can give us some actual baseball player analysis about this, but I felt like as a team, the Yankees were the third best of the 4 teams left in the American League. I didn't think that meant they didn't have a chance. I certainly thought they had a very good chance to beat the Blue Jays. They had the same regular season record. They were hot. Judge was hot. Everybody was hot. But I thought that the Mariners were better as a team. I thought the Blue Jays were like 1% better as a team. I thought the only team they were clearly better than, that they would clearly be favored in a series against, was the Tigers. I still thought that they were going to win. It's some dark part of my soul will never not believe that. But of the 4 teams left, Brandon, how would you rank the 4 teams left before last night? Mariners, Blue Jays, Yankees, Tigers as teams.
I guess I'd be probably where you were. I like the Mariners and Blue Jays. It's like this lack of belief because they're the Mariners and Blue Jays right now. Like, it's so long that we haven't. It's like the Nationals. You didn't believe it was going to happen until literally they were celebrating on the mound, and you're like, well, I think they're going to do it. Like, there was just something to that. But I also have no faith in this Yankees group, and really almost haven't for years. Like, I just don't know.
I think that's the thing is, Brandon has always been the bluntest of us 3 in our Yankees suck text chat that we have. But he's always, first of all, because Brandon actually likes the Yankees and played for the Yankees and enjoyed his time with the Yankees and all of that. But he also relatively tolerates our Yankee doom, particularly Mike's Yankee doom scrolling all the time. He tolerates it up to a point. And at some point, he's like, you guys are the Yankees are not good. They stink. Okay. I mean, you guys are worried about a team that's not very good. Do you believe, Brandon, that this Yankees team, Judge aside, not very good?
I think it's fine, but it's just not, I don't see a reason to be totally scared of it other than they've got Barry Bonds too and some other pieces that can get, but it seems like every year, like nobody else gets hot, and obviously Stanton last year, but like there's not 2 or 3 guys or 4 guys where you're like, God, this is just a behemoth, and all of a sudden there's just 3 pitchers you just can't get past, and there's always some weird bullpen meltdown of like somebody who should be a monster lurking down there isn't doing that anymore, and now you've got to worry about David Bednar and like not Devin Williams, who has some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
What?
This Devin Williams thing, that is one of that never happens to the Yankees.
That might be the number one thing that derailed their season, honestly, because when they got him, it was like, that was what they were missing. The Devin Williams of 2024 was what they were missing.
Right.
Really, which was just a guy who, like, there was an inning where in the last inning of the game, the other team was not going to score. And when he not only wasn't that, but was like negative WAR for the season or whatever he was, it really made the whole plan kind of fall apart. And they didn't have a margin for error in their bullpen. They tried so much stuff. They got all those guys at the deadline. They got Bednar, who ended up pitching really well for them, but like, you were not scared when their starter came out. And here's the interesting thing to me about the season. Unlike past years, except for Cole, which is obviously, that's a big except for. Yes. Cole missing the whole season. That's an enormous except for. Everyone else was healthy, essentially. Like, Stanton missed the first half of the year, but like, Stanton always misses some chunk of time. And when he came back, he was
so hot.
He came back better than he's been for them in a very long time. But Fried made 30-something starts, and Rodon made 30-something starts, and they both won 18 games. Will Warren was their number 3 starter all year. Not that he's great, but he was there. And Judge played 150 games, and Trent Grisham didn't get hurt, and Bellinger didn't get hurt, and Jazz didn't get hurt. Like, this is about, except for Cole, it's about as healthy as a season as they've had as a team. And they still just didn't have that feeling of inevitability and total scariness that you've come to expect from them. And I think at the end of the day, like, now this is a crazy stat. this is tied now. 16 years is tied for the longest stretch of championship-less baseball they've had since the dead ball era. There are 21-year-old kids who don't know a world really where the Yankees are champions.
Yeah.
Judge is turning 34 in April, and Cole is 35 as of September, and Stanton is going to be 37. And it's hard to see. I mean, they've got Ben Rice, who, like, no one who went to Dartmouth should hit the ball this hard. I don't understand it. It's not, there's something going on there. And they've got Schlittler, who, according to Brandon and all other baseball pundits in the world, is made the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to him after that game against where he shut down Nick Sogard and Nathaniel Lowe. Apparently, he was just walked into Cooperstown. Didn't pitch quite as well against a team with actual hitters the other night. But like they've got a couple young guys, but the core of the team, the stars of the team, are deep on the wrong side of 30. And now it's becoming harder and harder to imagine they get through a whole season completely healthy. And you're kind of like, what's the move? What's the move here? They've got a $300 million payroll and not a lot of moves to make based on the team as constructed.
Yeah. It feels to me, Brandon, I want to hear what you think, but it feels to me like, and I wrote this this morning, this team has never felt more thrown together than it feels now. It just feels like, wait, Cody Bellinger's available? Okay, now he's our star. Oh, and Paul Goldschmidt's, not, retiring? Okay, now he's our star now. And it just feels like there's no plan. And I'll tell you what was, to me, the moment that really stood with me with this series. Because the Blue Jays, at no point did the Yankees look like the better team. Even when they came back and won, at no point did they look like the better team. But the moment was the final inning when the game is more or less over. Everybody at this point is only hoping maybe the bases will be loaded for Judge. That's your only hope at this point, right? They sent Jason Dominguez up to the plate. And it was his first plate appearance of the entire, I don't even know why he was on the roster, but it was his first plate appearance of the entire postseason. And it just was such a reminder, man. Prospects do not develop in the Yankee system. I mean, Schlittler is a whole other thing, but prospects do. I mean, Ben Rice, I don't know, maybe not. Volpe is like they look ready to move on from Volpe. I mean, it was that bad a year. Dominguez was not even good enough to put him, to ever play him. I mean, they had needed him.
Defensively, he's unplayable. He's one of the worst. He's one of the worst defensive outfielders I've ever seen. And they have these guys come up who when they're in AAA or AA, teams try to trade for them, and they're like, that guy's untouchable, and they never move them. And they, it's like.
Miguel Andahar has been holding down that spot. His plaque in center field is almost done.
Perfect example is Miguel Andahar, where it was like, absolutely not. And meanwhile, like, you look at San Diego, and like San Diego's got their own problems, but like they move all their guys, and Dave Dombrowski moves all their guys. And Dombrowski traded Yohan Moncada when he was the number one prospect in all of baseball, and got Chris Sale and won a World Series. And like the Yankees have this insane belief that every one of their guys on the Baseball America list is absolutely untouchable, and teams fall for it all the time and trade for these it's like, they'll trade their best starting pitcher for prospects number 38 and 94 on the Baseball America top 100. And then they come up and they Dominguez has enormous power, and Volpe can slap the ball the other way over that stupid little league right field. But he's been the worst he's one of the 5 worst hitters in baseball for 2 years now. And they're kind of screwed a little bit because they don't have a shortstop. So I don't know. I feel like I think you're right, to me, and then Brandon should weigh in here because he actually played baseball. But the team felt so Frankensteined to me this year. Like everywhere you looked, there was a mismatched part jammed into a position. And a lot of them, what went right for them was like Trent Grisham hit 34 home runs or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the guy hit 184 for the Padres 2 years ago, and now he's hitting 35 homers. And so like things do go right for them. because of course they do. But then you get to the postseason and you're like, this is the team we're scared of? I don't understand it. How is this possible? So like, what is the institutional problem, Brandon? Like what is going on that this is a team that if they wanted to could be the Dodgers. They could be big fish hunting all the time. And yet, instead of trading these guys, these prospects, and just trusting that they can develop more, they hang on to these guys at key positions, or they get these stopgap guys, and then they get to the postseason and they have just this weird amalgam of spare parts that don't work together in any coherent way.
The Dodgers do this really good job of building like their prospect equity wallet and then using it all the time. Right? Like everybody who's not an elite, this guy's going to come in and walk into the team. Your Corey Seagers, your other but they get credit for this like drafting, and I don't know that they've drafted monsters. And we were having a conversation with some people in baseball this week, and like they probably get more credit than they deserve, but then they also kind of develop this mid-level prospect that they use to get a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Almost every couple years, and they do that really well. And I don't follow the Yankees close enough to know if like they do the same, but it certainly doesn't seem like they do. That's the one thing that stands out is like the Dodgers use all available pieces to them, including $500 million.
Right.
And the Yankees obviously can do the same.
That's the part that drives me crazy is like the Dodgers are a game away from the NLCS again. And a big reason why they're a game away with the worst bullpen I've ever seen of any championship contending team in history. The reason is because they have so many like $300 million guys that they're basically just using Roki Sasaki as a one-inning closer. He has a $325 million contract. And they're using him.
Sasaki does?
No, yeah, I believe he does, doesn't he? Isn't he?
No, Sasaki's making like league minimum. Like he's because he came over. Yeah, I found this out on. I made this mistake. I thought he was on a huge, and everybody on Twitter reminded me very quickly.
They paid the team a tremendous.
Yeah, but even that, remember, like that's not the same posting system. It's not that much.
That's right. That's right.
I completely had misremembered that pass, but
what we know about Sasaki is that before the season started, people were like, he's the best pitcher in baseball right now, like today. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Moto is whatever he is.
But
Sasaki got a $6.5 million signing bonus, but yeah, he's making league minimum. That's crazy. But the point is, like, they paid through the nose to get him. They paid through the nose to get Yamamoto. There's nothing stopping the Yankees doing that. Nothing. They could absolutely do that if they wanted to. And they're like this weird, this behemoth that is not using the main advantage that they have, which is just money, endless money, printing money. Again, we bring this up all the time. The family bought the team for $10 million. They're worth $10 billion. You have whatever money you spend, you're getting back. Whenever you want it, you're getting it back. And based on the valuations of the Dodgers and the Lakers and all these teams, like you want to sell the Yankees tomorrow, you can make 100x your money, whatever you've put in. And they just don't do it. They just kind of like try to save on the margins. And because of that, they just lose this enormous advantage that they have in a soft capped league.
I think there are a couple of things going on there, though. I mean, look, they will always have a very high payroll. It'll be just high enough so it's not like embarrassing for them as the Yankees, right? But the second thing is, I'm not 100% sure they could be the Dodgers in that I don't know that any of these. It is no longer like hip to want to play for the New York Yankees. Like that's not like if you're coming from Japan. I don't think that means anything to you anymore. I don't think if you're a young player, it meant something to Judge. It meant nothing to Soto. I mean, literally nothing, right? Like Juan Soto is like, hey, whoever gives me the most money. Judge was like, I'll take less, not a lot less, but I'll take a little less to do that rather than even going back home to San Francisco. But I don't think the Dodgers have that thing going. But what blows my mind about that team, Brandon, is that it's true. Mike and I complained pretty much nonstop on our text thread and here on the podcast about guys like Trent Grisham kind of coming out of nowhere and hitting 34 home runs. But here's the thing. Then October comes around and Trent Grisham is leading off their and you're not okay. He hit 34 home runs this year. You don't want Trent Grisham leading off your lineup in a postseason. I mean, even San Diego they wouldn't even play him toward the end in the postseason. So it's like they get guys that do fine in the postseason. Goldschmidt, had a nice start to the postseason. Bellinger had a fine year, had a 5-win season and all that. But you're not scared of them come October, not at all.
But how often do they have? And I'm trying to think back to, because it's been it feels like the same failure almost every year.
Yeah.
But when was the last time they had a true pen? And I know they've spent on pens. They had the Chapman, Andrew Miller, where they had monsters lurking down there who never were quite that. It never felt like the game was 5 innings, and it's like, oh, that's the game over. It always seems to fall apart a little bit, even when they bring big names down there. They've got Duvall down there, Bednar. They have guys down there. Devin Williams, that should be the same thing, where it's that's an elite bullpen, and then it's kind of it's fine. Yeah. And that maybe the Dodgers get through there. Maybe that's the hole this year, but they never get that run, I guess, for whatever reason.
But aren't we getting to more to a point? You don't want to sign last year's best reliever. I mean, look at the Dodgers.
Yeah,
probably not. Yeah.
So much money for Tanner Scott and
Kirby Yates. They've both been terrible. Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates combined were worth less than 1 WAR this year.
Crazy.
And what was Blake? Blake the same. It's just.
And Devin Williams felt like the surest of sure things. I mean, that guy's been great for 5 years. It's not like it was just a 1-season thing. He seemed like the surest thing. He was unpitchable. And who are the guys that are pitching great out of the pen? Kids that they find in their system. Their system doesn't have those kids. Why is that?
They have to. Everybody throws 100 now. They're there. It's just they're falling off trees. So I maybe that's just the thing, is stop spending on that and then spend on the elite talent. And you just hope the bullpen lines up. I keep thinking about it, in 23 when the Rangers won it. Their bullpen was whatever the Dodgers is, and then 5 levels worse than that was the Rangers pen that year. And then all of a sudden they all turned into Mariano for a full month, got out of everything. It was unbelievable. And you go, well, sometimes it's just that, right? It's just this whatever magic powder that's okay. Well, they win the World Series, and you can't do anything about it. And the Yankees just don't seem to ever get that anymore, where they just oops their way into a World Series.
Well, they did last year. I thought they oops their way into a World Series.
winning a World Series, I guess. Where yeah,
that's doubly hard, because then you're playing a really good team. But I thought last year, they fooled themselves last year. They beat a completely hitless Cleveland team to get to the World Series last year, and did it relatively easily, but not really. It should have been easier, honestly. And then again, they get Devin Williams, they get Max Fried, and it's oh, okay, well, they're locked and ready to go. And then you look and well, their bullpen's no good, and
the same again.
Terrific, but even Fried, once the postseason came around, it was hey, he's really good.
The team had an 8.50 ERA in the LDS. Judge, this is the most damning thing. Judge went supernova. He had a 1600 OPS. It didn't matter. They lost in 4. They lost at home to a division rival. Toronto hit 338 and had a 974 OPS against them in 4 games. They just they couldn't match up. They weren't
didn't pitch well enough, realistically.
Looking forward, this is the thing that I always love to do on Yankee Elimination Day. For the record, Yankee Elimination Day is second best day of the baseball season's opening day. We can all agree. Second best day is the Yankee Elimination Day. Yeah. And every Yankee Elimination Day, I like to go look ahead. Let's take a look ahead. They've got Judge, Cole, Stanton, Rodon. They've got Bellinger for 1 more year at 25. They backloaded Fried's contract.
An opt-out?
No, I don't believe so.
Really? I thought for sure he was free this year.
I thought he did.
I don't see it, but he might. So Fried only makes 14.5 next year, which was smart.
This isn't public sourcing, by the way, Joe. This is on his private spreadsheet that he meticulously maintains.
he gets this from like 20 different GMs.
I pay a staff.
He learned Excel for this purpose.
Goldschmidt's gone. They're not going to miss him. Here's a problem. They have Ryan McMahon for 2 more years for $16 a year. Like, what are you doing with Ryan McMahon at third?
Hey, big home run yesterday in that loss.
Isn't he good? Again, like, I'm less into baseball now, but I thought he was defensively really good.
Defensively, he's good, but offensively, he's not. Even a lefty in that stadium, he didn't hit very well.
There's another piece we haven't talked about is like defensively. And again, last night, that's a winnable close game, and then a poor defensive play. The whole thing's out of control. Like, they've been really bad defensively.
There were a couple
good defensively.
There were a couple things that you talk about, like what stood out to you, like the Dominguez at bat or whatever. His error, which leads to 2 runs, was a big deal. Jazz quietly, no one has noticed this but me because I'm obsessive about this stuff. Jazz has been real shaky at second.
Yeah.
He was better at third before they got McMahon, and he had to move back to second, which everyone wanted in the organization apparently because he had been good there. He spiked a really bad throw in the game before that was picked out by whoever was at first at the time. He's been a little shaky, turning double plays and stuff.
You know who's shaky defensively? Volpe.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That
guy won a Gold Glove as a rookie.
He's in his head, man. He's got to get out of there. Like, if he goes to the Reds or something, he's going to turn back into a good player.
Maybe. That's what we thought about Gavin Lux, right? Like, it's just like, okay, he's going to go to the Reds.
Gavin, that was in the first round against the Dodgers. Gavin Lux, I believe, hit third in the playoffs. Like, a guy who could barely hang on as the 9-hole hitter on the Dodgers was hitting third or maybe cleanup for the Reds.
Is it true that Volpe was it a 73 strikeout percentage in this series?
Yeah, he struck out a bunch.
It's only 4 games, but that's too many.
He went like 1 for 15 with a whole bunch of strikeouts.
I honestly, there's not too many Yankees I've ever felt bad for. I legitimately feel bad for that guy.
I really like him. I really like him. And
he needs to get out. He needs to play for the Diamondbacks or something. He needs to get far away from the Bronx and like have a nice, steady 12-year career.
You know what? Yeah, 1 for 11. With a double, his one hit was a double. 11 strikeouts in 15 at bats, in 15 plate appearances. 11 in 15. I mean, and he is in his head. And New York is not you grow up in the Bronx idolizing Derek Jeter. That's not, you want to talk about being in your own head. Get him out of there.
So Devin Williams is gone, as is ARB3, and talk about a guy who very important to that team offensively. He's like, I don't know what he'll make this year. He made 5.8 last year. He'll be in the 10 something range, I guess. But do you lock up that guy? Do you sign? He's only 27. He hits 30 homers a year for them. That's a big question mark.
Think they lock him up. I mean, he's got how many more years?
One more. He's ARB3 next year. And then Trent Grisham is a free agent. Like, what do you do with Trent Grisham? He's 28. Then who's playing center field? Like, this is the problem. They have problems, man. They've got they've got a bunch of bullpen questions like Luke Weaver and Mark Leiter and Tim Hill and all these guys. Tim Hill's on a buyout.
Who are the big free agents this year?
Well, for them, it's Devin Williams, who they're not going to sign. Goldschmidt.
No, I mean, who are the big free agents?
It's available? A bad free agent class. It's a very bad free agent class. Like, it's not. There's not a ton of like guys who. There's no Soto. There's no giant players. There's Alonso is a guy that maybe they try to get back at Steve Cohen for stealing Soto, and they could actually use a actual first baseman because Goldschmidt was their stopgap. Maybe they're planning on going hard after Alonso or something.
But why didn't they go hard after Alonso this year if they wanted?
I don't know.
I don't think they're going to go hard after anybody. But
maybe they move Bellinger to first permanently or something. I don't know. They're in a real weird spot where they don't have these guys that I think they thought like Dominguez and Volpe that were like the next generation of young guys coming up. Like, they haven't clicked. And I say this every year and I'm always wrong, but there's some real weird questions about this team and about who's actually playing these meaningful innings at meaningful positions.
Yeah. Well, don't you think they'll move Bellinger back to center and try to, I'm looking at the list now of the top free agents. Schwartz is out there, but I can't see Philadelphia letting him go, right? Like he'll stay. Kyle Tucker's out there.
Tucker's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the Cubs are gonna.
They have a guy who plays his position who they like a lot.
Yeah,
well,
he's in their plans.
They'd move him to left, I think. I mean, I think they would put him out there somewhere, right? Like, I mean, it would make sense. And then you're right. I mean, Bregman is out there. I mean, if he wants to opt out, which I assume he will. But don't the Red Sox can't let him go, I would think.
There's been weird rumors recently that they were more likely to let him, like the injury and his age scared them, apparently. I mean, that could also just be management leaking that to like try to keep his price down. Who knows? But I think he's going back to Boston in all likelihood. If I were I frankly wouldn't opt out. I don't think he's going to do better than $40 million a year for the next 2 years, which is what he would get if he opted in. Like, it's hard to imagine.
Is it 20 a year or 40 a year?
It's 40. It's 3/120, I think. Like,
is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, then no, he should definitely not opt out.
Yeah, but he probably will.
Yeah. Well, if you get a longer deal and you get more than 80, the math runs.
Yeah,
that would be the math.
It was 3/120.
I guess you could do it thinking you're not going to get 40 a year necessarily, but you'll get 35
a year. If you got four for 120,
yeah,
that equals more.
Exactly.
Right, but is he doing that? I don't know. I don't know that
it only takes one team to do that. I mean, honestly, the Yankees kind of need a third baseman. Like that would really be helpful for them, despite having Ryan McMahon already.
I think a lot of teams need it, but also you keep seeing article after article about how good a guy he is for bringing in other guys and young guys. Like that stuff's going to go a long way for teams that are missing that kind of thing.
Well, and the Yankees being one of those teams, I think. I mean, they would think so. All right, I want to talk about something else. I mean, not to knock Yankees. Plus, we have an emergency we have to get to in a minute. But I want to talk about the Dodgers throwing Kershaw yesterday. So in Game 3, the Dodgers are down 3-1, and apparently we are finding out now that Tanner Scott was missing from the ballpark.
Yeah, that's the context we didn't have.
I didn't know. I hadn't heard this. What happened?
Yeah. We don't know. It was a
personal matter,
some sort of personal matter, and Dave,
which could be a political rally or something. Now, knowing that's existed,
it was odd the way Dave Roberts said something like "you'll find out." Like that's not what you would necessarily say when like somebody's like a death in the family or something. But he was like, "Oh, he had a personal matter. You'll find out." So. We haven't found out yet, but anyway, Tanner Scott wasn't there, which explains part of what happened. They're down 3-1 to the Phillies in the late innings. And of course, if you're the Dodgers and you're down 3-1, that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing for you. You are totally in the game. You're at home. The Phillies are spinning, right? They blew Game 1 all by themselves and then couldn't come back all the way in Game 2. So this is a winnable game. This is a chance to take this thing out. They put Kershaw in the game right away. And I mean, we're talking about one of the all-time legends in baseball history. So all of that is just understood. Right away, this feels to me like really like some sort of ceremony to like celebrate Clayton Kershaw. Because I mean, God bless him. You're not throwing Clayton Kershaw in a 3-1 game and that you have to win. I mean, not anymore. Not this Clayton Kershaw. He somehow gets through that inning. I mean,
gives up a bunch of rockets.
Oh, yes, gives up a rocket. He walks a guy. I mean, if you're relying on Kyle Schwarber running into an out on the bases to like get out of an inning, you're in big trouble. All right, but he does get through it. They're still only down 3-1. And then next inning, they send him back out there. And it's like, what is even happening here? Like what? And he gets like, I mean, it's just pure carnage. He just gets absolutely lit up, gives up home runs, walks guys, looks like a guy they pulled from the crowd to pitch. Awful. But he still pitched the whole inning. They kept him in there the whole inning. They end up there when it's all over, they're down 6 or 7.
7.
7 when it's all done. And I can't put it together in my mind other than the idea that they sent him out there to be a sacrificial lamb to protect their pitchers. Like, that's the only thing I can make sense in my mind.
Who else do you use if you're going to use Game 4? If Emmett and Roki can't come back today on back to back, Tanner's not available. Blake, I would assume you're just as scared of at this point. I don't know. Like, who do you go to? Like, that's the only thing I can think of is
there are not many people to go to, but at this point, you can't throw Clayton Kershaw out there anymore. I mean,
like we said last night, it was the second inning that was the real problem. Like, you got through the first, you could tell, like, every pitcher has that feeling of, holy, how the hell did that happen? Like, thank God for the other people out there. But then at that point, you probably should have gone to at least Blake, I guess, in the eighth. Like, you have to use your guys.
You have to use your guys. You have to go to somebody else. And again, I really think that Dave Roberts was throwing that game. I'm not throwing it in a negative way. I think he was like this. He does this every year where he'll take one game and go, okay, listen, we're up 2-0. We need to protect. We need to save our pitchers. We need to, so we're just going to throw out a sacrificial lamb. They threw out Honeywell last year. That was the guy they did this to last year. But to do it to Clayton Kershaw at home, I don't know. It felt weird.
It was Clayton or Kike. That was the other option. Is that Kike Hernandez could have come in the fifth and tried to get through 6 innings.
That's the only thing he hasn't done in the playoffs, and it's probably worth a shot at this point because he just shits gold bars the entire postseason. So at some point, like, just go try that. Like, let's see if that works.
What was remarkable to me, and we talked about this last night on our text thread, was the long and proud history of Clayton Kershaw, who is known as like a postseason failure despite his Hall of Fame career. The reason he is known as a postseason failure is time and time and time again, a shocking number of times, he would get through like 5 innings of a start, giving up like 1 run and 4 hits. Pitching
on
great.
Short rest, always short
rest. And then it would be like, let's try to get 1 more inning out of him. And he would go out there and like 11 of the hardest hit balls in StatCast history would leap off the bats of the opposing team. And his line would end up being like 5 1/3, 11 hits, 9 runs. And it doesn't actually tell the story of how he pitched. And last night it was like, you know what? For old time's sake, let's just do that 1 more time. Let's have Kersh get through an inning and then bring him back out there to just blow up his ERA again in the postseason. It was so weird. It was like, it was as if they thought everyone loved that about the team, the way that they ruined Kershaw's ERA. Like, this is like for old time's sake, like Sandy Koufax is here. Let's give Koufax a little treat and have Kershaw's ERA explode into the outer space 1 more time just to remind us all of how his career has gone here. Bizarre.
I thought it was bizarre. I thought it was really bizarre. And I also thought it was bizarre the way that Brian Anderson, who was calling the game, who I think is the best in the business.
Me too.
Absolutely fantastic. Man, he just was like, you thought he was going to break down in tears for what was happening. And it was like, how about yelling at the manager for putting him through this? I mean, he's like,
at one point, I think it was the third out, was like a rocket to right, maybe that Teoscar caught. And Brian Anderson said, like, Kershaw deserved that. Like, as if the problem was that the team had let him down or something. Like, he was giving up like home runs and like rocket doubles into the gap. And it was like, oh, he deserved better than this. No, he didn't. He got lit up. Like,
he deserved worse, actually.
Yeah.
If you really look at everything, he deserved worse. I just thought it was really strange. I just thought it was just kind of, I mean, everything about sort of Kershaw's goodbye has been strange. Like, we all kind of thought he was gone, and then he was like, no, I'm still here. And then he pitched okay. Like, he's so smart, and he's so good at keeping hitters off balance in like a regular season setting that he ended up with pretty good numbers. And you're like, okay, well, you know what? He figured out a way, but that's not going to work against the Phillies, crying out loud.
So weird. So weird. Very, very weird. All right, we should make predictions because there's 3 series that have yet to be decided.
Yes.
Inexplicably, today, October 9th, the Phillies play the Dodgers out here on the West Coast, and the Brewers play the Cubs in the middle of the country in Chicago. Right. And the Dodgers game is first.
That's right. No,
that's the day game? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodgers game. Well, it's a day game there. It's going to be 7:00.
It's 3:00. It's 3:00 out here, 6:00 on the East Coast.
Is it 6 or 7?
It's 6. It's 6:08. 6:08 start.
There. And then in order to make the game start at 9 on the East Coast, they're starting a game at Wrigley Field at 8:08 p.m., which is like Bill Wrigley is rolling over in his grave.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, so it's the Phillies pull themselves up off the mat, and now they have Sanchez in Game 4 against Glasnow. So like, what are the? Well, this is a coin flip game, probably, with Sanchez pitching. He pitched great for 6 innings or whatever it was in Game 1.
He's great.
He's incredible. Glasnow has also been very good. Like,
he's also incredible.
I feel like I'm gonna say I think the Phillies win this game. Maybe Ohtani hasn't done anything against this Philly staff, and I guess it's only a matter of time. But I'll bet on Chris Sanchez. I don't know.
Well, the good news is by the time people hear this, they'll already know games. So it's a perfect time to make our predictions.
Yeah, let's make predictions now. This won't be it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say, and everybody will know the answer to this, but yeah, I mean, it feels like the Phillies' game plan is very simple. I mean, you have Chris Sanchez going tonight. You have against Glasnow. That game should stay close until the 7th inning. And then the Phillies should win the game. Like if you could get into that Dodger bullpen, and the Dodgers will throw as many starters as they can.
Unless that just gets to Roki, unless that's your game plan is like a 5-2, a 5-3 to get through.
Oh, but do you think they would throw him 3 innings now in this setting? I mean, I think they want him every night, don't they?
At this point now, well, one, if it wins the series, what does it matter? Like, yeah, you got to use him now, and you're not saving him for 2 days now. Like,
no, but
wouldn't
you plan on not pitching him more than an inning? I mean, wouldn't that be the plan?
I can't imagine so. Like, this to me is one of those, like, one, he's built up for it. You're not stretching him past what he can do, and it's like you carry this home, right? Like that should be the advantage of him, is that he's built up as a starter, and like go until you say stop, I guess. Because who else are you trusting?
Well, I'll also point out that Ohtani pitched Game 1, and if they have a 1-run lead in the 7th, it might be Ohtani for the 8th and Sasaki for the 9th or something.
Like Ohtani Game 5 starter, though?
Yeah, but
they like coming back from Tommy John. I would bet it's so measured that there's no chance he pitches in tonight's game. He will play the field though, or he will hit.
Yeah.
So they'll let him do that, but I don't think they're.
I think that if you're the Dodgers and you're like on a knife's edge with this pitching staff, I think you really don't want to have to take a day off and then fly back to Philadelphia and then play Game 5. Like,
sure, but I don't think that comes with risking. I mean, it's a $700 million player who hasn't even gotten to do half of that value yet. Like, I don't think that's a risk they take. That's we've got other people on this roster.
Was there another starter? I mean, like, I'm trying to think of like who started Game.
Gian Yamamoto.
Yamamoto pitched.
No, that was 3. Sorry.
Snell?
Snell, yeah.
Snell.
They could bring Snell out for an inning.
I think their plan is basically for the rest of the playoffs to have 85% of their innings be pitched by starters, whether starting or relieving. Like, I just feel like they just don't. They don't have anyone.
Baseball's been going. I mean, it's like everything about baseball has been, hey, just get your starter through 4 or 5, and then you have the great bullpen.
Well, then you go to your $72 million reliever, who they're scared that we forgot existed yesterday when we were wondering why is this like.
That is really telling. That at no point did we say, why isn't he going to Tanner? We never even thought about that because he was so bad this year. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm gonna say Philly wins, and then Milwaukee I think has not yet announced who's starting for them.
They have not, but it'll probably be Peralta, right? I would think it'll be Peralta.
I don't know. I mean, that's what the Padres did last year. Is started their best guy on short rest, and it blew up in their face. Like,
now maybe they save Peralta for 5 at home.
Yeah,
and then what do? They go with one of their. I mean, they've got a bunch of guys. Look,
I couldn't name it. Is it Jordan Lyles? Like, I don't know who plays this Brewers team. Every day is fun because I turn the game on and you find out a person exists.
Are they going to go with Pete Vukovich in this game? What do you think?
I don't. No idea.
Yeah.
But that Brewers team feels like pretty confident, don't you think? I mean, they just feel.
Who started Game 3? Priester? Who started it?
Priester.
Okay, so he's out.
For an inning.
So you've got like,
and they threw Quintana yesterday, right?
Yeah, he threw. Yeah.
So they've got like a bunch of semi relievers that like the Mizorowskis and the
Mizorowski is definitely a starter for them eventually.
Yeah, but he's pitching relief in the series, and like, who the hell is Aaron Ashby?
Is he related to Andy Ashby?
I would imagine it. He's the nephew of Andy Ashby. Yeah. All right.
So all right. So we'll see how that goes, and then obviously Game 5 of that Tigers Mariners series, dude. The Mariners.
Come on, Seattle. Come on, Seattle. What are we doing? You're so close. Like, the path is laid out for you, right? Like, the Blue Jays are a good team, but like they're not a behemoth.
Yeah. The Mariners are the best team in the American League, I think. Like, from a talent standpoint.
They got to get through Skubal to win now, which is like, that's why they needed to win yesterday. They losing Brian Wu for this playoffs has been such a pain in the butt. And like they need him so badly. They haven't announced a starter for Game 5 yet. Like, if it were Skubal Wu in Seattle, you'd be like, all right, Skubal's hard, but they beat him before. They can get through him. They can do it. But like, I don't know that they have the guy without Wu. I just don't know that they have the guy that you would feel.
Who is it? Kirby today? Who's throwing?
It's tomorrow. It must be. He must be.
Kirby started it was Kirby against Skubal in Game 1, wasn't it?
Kirby was Game 1, yeah.
It'll be Kirby. But, okay, because this will come out, hopefully, before that game. So let me ask you the question. Brandon, I'm going to ask this to you. Last year in Game 5, Tigers threw Skubal against Cleveland, who somehow got to him in the weirdest – it was a really weird one. In your mind, tomorrow in Seattle, pretty close to where he went to college – all of that sort of thing. Does Tarik Skubal become a legend, or does he get beat up a little bit like he did last year, or somewhere in the middle?
I hope he does, but I don't ever predict baseball because it's the stupidest sport in the world to predict. But I truly don't know. I haven't watched it close enough to even think. I just hope he does. Like, I like when guys kind of ascend to that next plane and have those moments of like, what? Like, you couldn't do anything about it. Like, your whole season came down to avoiding this thing, and that thing happened. It's Judge yesterday if he comes up with the bases loaded and hits one out of the park, and you're like, okay, well, that's what you shouldn't have done, was got to that situation. So you shouldn't have gotten to Game 5 with Skubal pitching, and the odds were that he was probably going to be really, really good again. But
what do you think, Mike? Legend or not?
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers have had such a weird year, like maybe best team in the American League. Then for a month when it counted, worst team.
They were the Rockies.
Yeah, the worst worse than the worst team for like a solid month, and then rise up and beat the Guardians, which who cares? But now they're like taking the Mariners, who is probably the best team in the AL, to the Game 5. Yeah, they were dead. Yeah.
Game 4. No, they were dead. They're down 3-0. The fans are booing them. They're done. They're completely done. And then out of nowhere, like, they score 9 runs, like nothing. I mean, it's crazy. I have this feeling, and I hate this for Mariners fans, but I kind of have this feeling that Skubal goes nuclear tomorrow, and
boy,
it was like a 8 perfect innings or something, like just completely shuts.
Or it's just a quiet stadium that you're just watching this game for 2 hours and 20 minutes of just Northwesterners just kind of eating food, having a drink, upset,
wondering if that Kerry Carpenter like bloop single is gonna make the difference.
There's a sort of like theory I've been working on, which is that like if you're a team with a miserable history, like the Mariners have in the playoffs, or like the Red Sox had before 2004, like the story, and this sounds a little facile, but I think there's something to it. The story just has to be that someone on your team is like, not again. We're not doing this again. Yeah. This was Ortiz in 04 was just like, I'm stepping up. I'm putting a stop to this. And it has to be, it can be a non-star, but I think it kind of has to be a star who's like the guy that your team has looked to all year or for multiple years in a row to be a hero. Just has to be the one who steps forward and says, like, this ends now.
So Julio hits a home run
or Raleigh. It's Julio or Raleigh. It's one of those two guys has to just, like, if Scooble is like perfect through 4 2/3 or whatever, and is just like mowing them down, and the Tigers scratch across a run with like a Kerry Carpenter solo shot or whatever, like, and then someone walks, like Julio walks, and then Raleigh comes up with 2 outs in the 6th or whatever. He just has to hit a home run. Like it's like and again, this seems facile and sort of reductive, but like that's what teams who have these awful histories need is like, I know this music and I'm changing the tune. And I really, and Raleigh's hasn't played badly. He's hit a couple homers and whatever, but like they talked for so long about like, does Judge get his signature moment or whatever? And like he hit that ball off the foul pole. And then of course, my God, they talked about how the ghosts pushed it fair. I just wanted to vomit. But it's like the Yankees don't have a sad history. The Yankees have the richest, happiest history. And that for teams that have sad histories, like I just think Cal Raleigh needs to hit a 3-run homer off Tarek Skubal, or else I don't think this happens for them. So it could be Julio too, but I really think that this year it's Raleigh is the guy. And so I like that to me is the difference in this game. Like there's gonna be a moment where he comes up, I think, and has the chance to just change the history of the Mariners franchise or not. And it's just like, that's the at-bat, that's the moment, even if it's in the middle of the game where this is going to be decided. That's my official prediction.
I mean, that Seattle, to this day, the single greatest moment in the franchise's history was Edgar's double against the Yankees, right? It's like at one point, that your guy came through and delivered with the big moment.
Right. And that was 30 years ago, man.
30 years ago. And they still play that. And I haven't been there in years, but they played it on the scoreboard incessantly.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like, can you just have one more moment of something, please?
Yeah.
And it was a moment to get them into the ALCS. I mean, it wasn't even like
look, leading up to 2004, every game at Fenway, they played Fisk's homer, which was also 30 years before.
They still do the rally monkey in Anaheim. It's these people that are just sadly hanging on to just.
Yeah, I just think that it's like they're such a tortured franchise that if they don't have their guy do the thing in the moment, they're just doomed to this loop forever. And like, I don't know.
Detroit is kind of like tortured also.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's not like Detroit. I mean, you go back to 84 for them to actually win it. And then, they've been to the World Series since then, but
they've been in 2 in the modern era, basically. Like, what was it? 06 and 11?
06 and they lost to the Giants in 10.
Giants. Yeah. That was 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they got there at least, but I don't know that if you're a Tigers fan, you feel all that great about any of those years.
I mean, better than the Mariners. Mariners have literally never been. In their own way. Yes. Yeah. And the thing is that the path, if you're in the AL right now, any of those 3 teams, you can see it in front of you. Even the Tigers, you can see it. You've got Skubal in Game 5. You play the Blue Jays, who are, again, very good team, but they don't have even one guy they don't have anybody as good as Skubal. So like, I mean, no one does. But then you're looking at the National League, and it's like the Phillies game to game can be unstoppable or a complete mess. The Brewers are very good, but again, they're not like, I don't know. They didn't win 109 games this year or something. Nobody did. Right? Yeah. So all of these teams, it's right in front of you, and it's there for the taking, including the moribund Mariners. And I want the story of this season to be the Cal Raleigh after an incredible season in the biggest moment. Like there was a shot in Game 2 in Seattle. The Mariners have waited whatever it is, 20 years or something for a home playoff win. That's how bad they've been. And when they took the lead on Julio's double, I think, they cut to the stands and there was a grown man, fully weeping. And his girlfriend or wife or sister or whoever he was with, like, hugged him and comforted him, like, in a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. And that was for taking the lead in the 6th inning of a home playoff game. Like, this is a franchise that is so desperate for a change of luck and fortune that, like, Cal Raleigh, it's right there for you, man. If you can have that moment in the biggest game of the year, like, you become David Ortiz. Like, you
become he's already a legend in Seattle, but you become something more. I think I cannot remember the last time for a regular, like, not World Series but playoff game, I was as excited as I am for this one.
It's going to be amazing.
This is as good as it gets, right? Skubal against, like, a desperate franchise with a couple of really great hitters on that team. Yeah, I'm really excited. All right, before we go, we do have one more emergency that we have to get to. This came up last night in our conversation, and the question that is before the court is, who is weirder, Michael Schur or Brandon McCarthy? Right, like, that is the hardcore question. Who is weirder? Each believe pretty strongly that the other guy is weirder. Am I misstating that, or
no? That's correct.
Yeah, Mike definitely feels very strong.
Well, here's how this started. Yeah. When the Yankee game ended, I texted both of you. Yeah. Oh, interesting. When Cam Schlittler faces an actual lineup with actual hitters in it, he goes 6 1/3, gives up 8 hits and 4 runs, only strikes out 2 and loses the game. I was told that he's going to the Hall of Fame. That's so interesting. And then Brandon wrote back, "You're weird." Yeah, that's not a weird thing to say. Like, that's a very on point thing for me to say in the text thread that we have, which is largely about baseball and very frequently about Yankee hype. Like, there was nothing. What was weird about that? I defend your comment to me that I was weird for saying that.
You're still angry that a young pitcher who's just starting absolutely walked through in an all-time playoff performance and a do-or-die game, walked through, and it was like, he's unacceptable as a major leaguer because I think Toronto hit him hard one time in the regular season.
That was
And
not
something,
what I
and they're like,
said.
this will never last again. And then you could not wait to get back, even though he was completely fine yesterday.
He was fine
with
yesterday.
without his best stuff.
Yeah.
Like, was really actually still pretty damn good. And then it was like, now you got to go dance on the grave.
First of all, yes, of course I'm dancing on the grave. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? I'm not going to dance on their grave. Of course I'm going to dance on their grave. Second of all, I wasn't saying that Schlittler didn't pitch really well against the Red Sox. My point was, everyone was like, it was a classic Yankee thing. It's game 3 of a 3-game wild card series at home against a team that's starting Nick Sogard and Nathaniel Lowe and Romy Gonzalez. Schlittler threw like 100 pitches and 82 of them were just fastballs. He didn't even have to try to throw anything else. They were swinging at balls at their eyes all night. And everyone, and I was like, yo, yeah, right. That's what's going to happen. Cause this team has like a third of the roster shouldn't have been on the roster. And everyone was acting like he was Don Larson in the World Series. And I was like, I know this team. I know both of these teams so well. I've watched Schlittler pitch 1,000,000 times this year. I've watched the Red Sox struggle to score 3 runs in the regular season games that they played in September. Like, yes, it was a great pitching performance, but you don't get super excited when Tarek Skubal faces like the Rockies and strikes out 14. You're not like, oh my God, that is a signature performance. No, that's just a really good pitcher playing against the worst lineup in baseball. And when Schlittler blew the Red Sox away, I was like, yeah, okay, he's got a really good fastball and the team can't hit. And everyone was yelling at me in the media and also in my private life about how the Yankees have the next like greatest pitcher who has ever lived. And I was like, watch what happens when he plays the Blue Jays. The guys, they don't even have Bichette. They're going to knock him around much more easily than the Red Sox did. Lo and behold, that happened. I point that out, and what I get is, you're weird.
Well, I'm going to find myself not necessarily wanting to do this, But I find myself leaning a little bit toward Brandon. First of all,
this is madness.
Yeah, no. First of all, that was an all-time performance. I don't care who's pitching. It was not the Rockies. It was a Boston Red Sox team in the playoffs. And yes, they were hurt. And yes, they didn't have their best lineup out there. The guy threw 8 shutout innings in a win-or-die game, struck out 12. He always throws 85 or 90% of his pitches or fastballs. That wasn't specific to the Red Sox. He did that yesterday, too. That's his game. And he blew the Red Sox away. He's from Walpole, Massachusetts.
So what?
No, that story.
That ended up important.
That story is incredible. So he actually pitched pretty well in that game. He gave up 4 runs.
Pitched fine.
After he came out.
He pitched fine. He's a good pitcher. Yeah, let me just read you the batting averages. The Red Sox batting average is pretty. Yes. Jaron Duran, 091.
Can I get into my essence of why you're weird? Why
Rafaela, 000, did not get a hit in the wild card series. Nathaniel Lowe, 143. Narvaez, 000. Abreu, 000. Romy Gonzalez, 111.
That was part of why.
They didn't hit the 2 games before that either. They didn't hit the Frieder Rodon. Like, they can't hit. They're not a good team. This lineup was terrible. You know who? Tell me who hit cleanup for the Red Sox in the wild card series. I'll give you $1. The answer is Yoshida. He has. You know how much power Yoshida has? None. 0.0 power. He is a 20 hitter on the 20 to 80 power scale, and he was hitting cleanup because the team was not good. I understand Schlittler pitched really well. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying that when that game was over, it was a class. It was the same exact thing as like we want Jason Dominguez in a trade. He is untouchable. We will never get rid of Jason Dominguez. He's going to the Hall of Fame. And it was exactly the same thing. It's this crazy. Listen, this is what I want to say about the New York Yankees as a franchise, and the Yankee fans specifically. Yankee fans and the management of the franchise has yet to accept that they are now just another team. They still believe institutionally, and their fan base believes institutionally, that this is the year 2000, and that being in the World Series and in fact winning the World Series is their birthright. And if they don't win, there's like all these articles and all these comments that are like, we're shocked. We're the best team. We thought we had it. This is like, we beat ourselves. There's all this nonsense where it's like, guys, you're just another team now. The league has changed. The game of baseball has changed. There's way more parity. You no longer are the only team that spends money like you were in the year 2000. Like the game has changed, and the whole Yankee world acts like it's still Tino Martinez at first and Scott Brocious at third and Bernie Williams in center and Posada catching and Mariano Rivera coming out of the bullpen. And if they don't win, it's like something went wrong instead of just there are other teams that are as good or better as you. And when Cam Schlittler mows down a incredibly mediocre, utterly powerless lineup, and people lose their minds and act like it's the most incredible thing that's ever happened in baseball. There's like a lot of pitchers did that to the Red Sox in September. Go back and look at their games. They faced a lot of pitchers who were not as good as Cam Schlittler and had like 4 hits and 1 run in 9 innings.
No, Joe, let him keep going. Please let him keep going, because this is perfect to my central thesis here, is that like this was whatever that line is of like, don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. Like this was 7 pages of dialogue, 4 straight minutes of ranting, but all about one other team that's not his favorite team. That's the essence of the weird. It's not that you're a Red Sox fan. It's that you're not a Yankees fan. Like that, it's your whole core tenet here. And that's why I insist. That's why I say the weird.
Let me ask you something. You pitched for the Yankees. When your year was over, how did it happen exactly? Like, what was like the exfil process like for you to get out of the cult? Was it like this? Like, was it like CIA guys like dropped into your apartment at night, like through the roof, and they pulled you out? and then they had to like deprogram. Like, what was the deprogramming like? I'm curious. Like, whether was it a team of like anti-psyops guys? Like, did they have to hypnotize you? Like, how did they get you to like undo all of the like intensive brainwashing that had happened for the 81 days that you pitched with that team? Because they did an okay job. Like, I feel like you're like mildly rational now, but I feel like they didn't quite finish the job, and there's still a little bit of that. Like, I think you're still a little Manchurian candidate.
You have to show them the Queen of Hearts, right? Like,
yeah, like I'm afraid if I show you a picture of Shane Spencer, you might like try to murder me or something.
Brandon?
I don't have, there's no rebuttal. Like I went in there, was not a fan, and now that I've left, I am actually a fan of the Yankees because I enjoyed it so much. It's an enjoyable experience.
Where did
Wonderful.
they
Like
do the
you've
injections?
missed.
Was it your neck, or did they? What were you awake for them, or was it like a Clockwork Orange type situation where they pried your eyes open and showed you like footage of Thurman Munson or something? Like, how exactly did they burrow their way into your brain and actually alter your brain chemistry and your way of like looking at the world? Because they
It's the
clearly are
not
like,
having the name on your jersey. It burns like the pinstripes into you.
interesting.
And so you realize it's not about you anymore. It's about something larger, and that sticks with you for life.
I mean, they clearly do a good job, because everyone who like comes within 6 nautical miles of Yankee Stadium ends up with this same ridiculous attitude that there's something exceptional about that franchise.
My question is, do we feel, Mike, that this has proven that you are less weird?
Fine, I'm weirder. I don't care. Like, call me whatever you want. I don't care. History will prove me right. There's going to be whole books written about like whatever whatever the brainwashing system is that organization has over the media, over fans, over baseball, over people like who announce the games. Like, are we seriously talking about ghosts helping Aaron Judge hit a home run? We're seriously talking about that? That's a thing that just gets said and gets repeated in the media. He's the best hitter in baseball. He hits 60 home runs every year. Like, the remarkable thing isn't that he hit a home run in that game. The remarkable thing is that before that, he had like a career 770 OPS in like 100 playoff series. The remarkable thing is that when he came up with the bases loaded, he struck out on a terrible slider, and no one ever talks about that anymore. Now it's like, oh, Aaron Judge is back. He's the greatest hitter of all time again. Cam Schlittler is the greatest postseason pitcher in history. Like all this, it's just nonsense. It's all nonsense. And no matter what, even when they just burn out quickly, you know what? Here's another thing. Against the Red Sox in that series, the game that the Red Sox won, there was a ball that got hit to Judge in like a soft liner that got hit to Judge in right field, I think by Sogard or some other 4A player who shouldn't have been on the roster. And Judge like loped after the ball and casually picked it up and curl hopped as a run scored. And Sogard like busted his ass and got into second and beat the throw. No, I didn't hear anyone say like, that was a terrible play by Judge. Like, that was a lazy outfield play. That guy dropped a line drive against the Dodgers in the World Series that like opened the floodgates and let 5 runs score. And like, it's the most humiliating moment in history. And now we don't hear about that anymore. Now we hear about the ghosts who pushed his home run fair so it hit the foul pole. I mean, they're just another team. That's why I'm so angry. Like, they shouldn't be talked about to the degree that they're talked about. And yet when they get knocked out by a team that had the exact same record in the exact same division, they get knocked out of the playoffs. And then suddenly everyone's like, what went wrong? Nothing went wrong. They're not that good.
Well, that is true.
How many documentaries about the Red Sox or the Yankees were released this year about the same story for the 5th time? Like, I don't know when the next Red Sox documentary comes out.
I know exactly when the next one's coming out, right? Like that Believers documentary is coming out like now, the one that Ben Affleck did about the fans who had to suffer 20 plus years ago. I mean, don't look, Mike and I share our Yankees hatred, but Mike is completely blind to this Red Sox thing. The most famous, the ghost pushed the ball fair home run in the history of baseball was hit World Series. We're still talking about it. They didn't win that series. We're still talking about that. So, look, Mike is 100% right about the Yankees because he always is. He's just right. They're a plague. However, the Red Sox are also kind of a plague, and Mike is.
But the Yankees aren't even a plague anymore. We just spent the first 40 minutes talking about how they're like tuberculosis. You're like, yeah, it was bad, but now we've sort of figured it out.
That's only because today, look, starting in like, I don't know, 3 weeks, we're going to be freaking out about the Yankees winning next year again. Like that's like, this is a routine that we do all the time. This is our cycle. But yeah, look, they're still the Yankees and they're still scary and they still find ways to like ruin our lives. But yeah, but I will say Mike is he sort of brushes by the fact that the Red Sox have been way, way, way more successful than the Yankees over the last 20 plus years.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I did assume, Mike, that you would come armed with some Brandon is weird material, though. I did assume.
He's just weird because when I say things that are not weird, he says I'm weird. It's like a meta weirdness.
That's the only weird thing about Brandon?
Well, there's a million things. We don't have time to relitigate, like, Christmas in Sarajevo or whatever. But there's a million things that make him weird. When he watches Liverpool play soccer matches, he spits on the ground as if he's still pitching. And he told me when we were at Anfield watching Liverpool play, he told me that sometimes when he's watching them in his own house, he suddenly becomes aware that he is spitting on his own floor. So I'm not saying he's not weird. He's a very weird person.
Very weird.
Yeah, but
I was going to say that I thought you were going to bring up one very classic Brandon weirdness, which is that Brandon very directly roots against the best stories in sports.
Yeah, well,
so I'm going to allow this because there was one moment where I had a little, not visceral anger, but I was like, oh, that's weird that I thought it. You talked about this weeping Mariners fan, and all I was thinking, there's no business in them winning because that upsets the natural order. So yeah, I kind of hope he's unhappy.
Of all his bad takes, honestly, this is his worst take. That he roots when people are miserable, he roots for them to remain miserable. That's unconscionable. Like, I don't understand. He didn't want the Cubs to win in 2016. He didn't want the Red Sox to win in 2004. He didn't want the White Sox to win in 2005. Even though he was on the team, he didn't want them to win.
He didn't want Leicester City to win, right?
No.
What good has Leicester and the Cubs win in 2016? How have things gone since 2016?
That's not the point. The point is for that year.
It upsets the natural order of things.
This is fascism. He's a fascist. This is why he's a Yankee fan. It's because
you have allowed fascism to come back. I need you to understand this. By ruining the natural order of things.
The natural order of things is code for fascism. You want the oppressors to remain the oppressors, and you want the oppressed to remain the oppressed. That's insane. You don't want random fan bases who have suffered for decades to get one moment of happiness in their wretched, miserable lives of rooting for the team.
You brought up that weeping Mariners fan. That the first thought that came to
of course it was.
I don't want that guy winning.
I want that guy to be miserable and sad for the rest of his life. I don't ever want them to be happy. That's such a weird take. That is
weird. That is weird. I got to be honest.
You're back on my side, aren't you?
I was always thinking like you had so much ammunition against Brandon, and I was surprised that you went into the "I'm not weird" rant, which really did not play well.
Didn't help.
Disagree. I thought it went great. But if you want to get into just who's weirder qua weirdness, it's easily Brandon. I mean, that's the weirdest sports take. That one take alone wins the debate.
But he has it over and over. I mean, this is not a joke. Brandon always roots against the underdog.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
No, not against the underdog. I like underdogs when they're underdog. I don't like when it's a historic thing that upsets the natural order. I've said a few times, if I get into a time machine or you wake up from a coma, you kind of want to know things are where I left them. And you can't have the Mariners have won 3 World Series now, and guess what? The Cubs are really good. And the Cleveland Browns have the new Patrick Mahomes. None of that is good for anybody.
They had Baker Mayfield. I don't want to talk about that. So as I understand it, just so we can clarify this, You're perfectly fine with Vanderbilt beating Alabama in a big upset. You are not fine.
I hate Alabama. Yes, the closest thing I can get to a Yankees rant is Alabama.
Fine with Vanderbilt becoming a power in the SEC.
I would care less about that because nobody cares about Vanderbilt. It's not built into like our social coding that like Vanderbilt's bad. It's you just kind of go,
it kind of is,
but not even in a way that but not in a way that you think about. It's not a movie reference.
Listen, you could take his diatribes about, and I quote, the natural order of things, end quote, and put them in the mouth of Grand Moff Tarkin in a Star Wars movie, and it would seem perfectly reasonable. Like he's literally espousing fascism. This is bananas. This is like the people who are powerful should always remain powerful, and the people who are not should always remain not. That is an insane sports take when you're literally like, what harm does it possibly do to give a long-suffering fan base 1 year where they get to experience the joy and majesty of their team winning a championship? Like it's like the greatest feeling in the world. And the idea that you want to like keep those people down and rub their faces in the dirt and make sure they're always miserable so that you can maintain what you see as, and I quote again, the natural order of things, which is a insane way to look at like the Cubs are bad. Like that is a bananas take.
There are no fun stories. There just aren't. The Yankees Red Sox used to be.
There are no fun stories,
but they're like fun stories in passing that don't like capture everybody. If you had the Yankees Red Sox playing in the postseason for years, like it was the center of the universe. The Yankees Red Sox play a playoff series now, do or die, and it's like, it's not that big a deal.
Well, unless future Hall of Famer Cam Schlittler is painting.
Fair. This is none of this. Like the Cubs being in the playoffs means nothing anymore.
Yeah, but the Mariners being there still means something.
But
then that dies. They win the World Series this year, and that dies. Then they're out.
And then there's the Guardians, and then there's whoever else. Like there's always going to be teams that haven't won anything in 50 years. Like,
wouldn't you say, Brandon, that your true belief is that the world would be a better place if the Cubs still were like never going to the World Series and never won it?
Completely, genuinely believe that.
All right, the prosecution rests. Like that's the end of the argument right there. Like I let's vote. Put a poll on your after this debate. I have to go to work now, but put a poll on your website, Joe. Who's weirder, Brandon or Mike?
And then also what has gotten better since 2016, other than Cubs fans are a little happier.
The key pieces of evidence are I was upset the way people overreacted to Cam Schlittler's performance in Game 3 of the Wild Card Series, and Brandon is a fascist. Those are the two pieces of evidence.
I think the rain delay created a butterfly effect that will lead to the end of the Republic and freedom. So I think I'm trending well in my thoughts.
Well, you are trending well in your thoughts. We'll see how the poll goes. All right, Brandon, thank you so much for helping us celebrate Yankee Elimination Day.
And fascism.
Mike, as always, thank you.
Thanks for having me.